Hey guys, in this Figma tutorial we're going to create a few iOS screens as you can see here below, and this is actually a part of a series of videos in which we're creating an entire iOS UI kit from scratch. And if you haven't seen all of the other videos, feel free to check out my YouTube channel, and you're going to be able to find them in a dedicated playlist. But without further ado, let's jump into the tutorial.
Alright, so the very first thing which I'm doing over here is just duplicating one of the current screens which I already created in the past videos. And by the way, since this is a video from a collection of videos in which we're building this UI kit from scratch, if you want to see the entire kit from the start, you can simply go on my YouTube channel, and I'm going to have a playlist dedicated to this entire process, so you can even see the first screens and the logic and rationale behind it, and the entire process really, because it's all on video recorded. So essentially at this point I am creating this screen and I'm trying to create some more interesting visuals in order to really convey this these topics and these elements, and it's based on a quick wireframe which I created. And again, since this is not a client project, I'm going really free with ideas. This is you can see this, you can consider this as a freestyle UI design project, nothing that really is or come close to a client project, because there's much more variables and things involved, especially when considering the UX, and there's audits, there's talking with the client to understand their problem, their target market, the issues that he's might having at that time. So there really is a lot of things which aren't really considered in this specific project, simply because it's a freestyle. And the goal of this iOS kit is to really show you guys some UI design techniques and really make you more comfortable using Figma. If maybe, for example, if you're a user who just recently started using Figma and you want to learn a little bit about the software, seeing these videos is really good, because you can see someone who's very experienced with the software, and you can learn a nugget here, a nugget there, and really some quick tips and tricks on how to proceed and create some visual designs in Figma in an efficient and fast way. That being said, one of the comments which I received was regarding the design system, and why I'm not using components, why I'm not using design systems, and that's a legit question, because that's not something which we're doing in this UI kit. However, this is something which I strongly recommend to create a design system whenever you can, and if it's a very small project and it's a one-off project where you know 100% that it's just like a quick one-off with maybe a bunch of screens, maybe a design system is overkill and wouldn't be necessary. But whenever you're dealing with a long-term project, or even you want to deliver something which is of really high quality to the client for the long term, a design system is something which I always recommend, and I'm a huge fan of creating design systems and creating reusable components, UI components, and keeping the typography, the colors on check, on point, and basically creating something which is scalable and systematic. I myself, I worked with multi-million-dollar companies, and I worked on design systems with projects that had hundreds and hundreds of screens, and they can really be a huge time saver if established well. And I myself, I also have a design system which I created over the many years, and I use that as the base template. It's called Inizio. You can find it in my store or just by going on my website. But again, it was long answer. I want to answer the original question, that is why I'm not using a design system in this specific case. And the reason, there are multiple reasons. The first one is because I don't want to create components, symbols, and those kind of things in Figma only, because I want this iOS kit to be available also on Adobe XD and on Sketch. And in a perfect world where we have 100 hours in a day, I will create this and then adapt it in Sketch and Adobe XD. But the reality is that it takes a lot of time, and I'm not really making any money off of this. Like if it's going to be, it's going to be minimal. It's mainly for showing you guys, giving you some free value. So I'm not going to invest that time in order to really adapt it in for all of these platforms, because I don't really see the ROI at this moment, and I have to be really cautious with how I use my time. And the second reason being is that I myself, I don't think that using the creation and the adaptation of the design system can be really beneficial for most of my audience. There definitely is a segment of designers who are watching my videos who are very interested in design systems and seeing all the minute details, but reality is that it's going to make this whole process longer, maybe like twice or 3 times as long, and it's going to be very tedious. It's very tedious work even to look at. So I'm not sure that it's a sensible decision in this case for most of my audience. Otherwise, I think that these videos can become much more boring real fast. And the third reason is that I myself, I download and I buy UI kits. I always want to see the best UI kits, the base frameworks for design that are out there. I'm really I pay a lot of attention in always being on the cutting edge of you know, the softwares and the workflows and the assets which I have. And basically, based on that, I can tell you that each and every designer creates design systems according to their specific preference, and there isn't a really standardized and universal way to approach it. I mean, there are some basic concepts like, you know, using color styling, typography, like all the basic things are pretty much established in every design system. However, the way that each and every designer approaches a design system is different, and I myself, I have some very specific methodologies around my design system and my experience, you know, working from startups to multi-million-dollar companies. And whenever I see a design system, I always want to tweak it according to my personal preferences, and based on what I know that works at a very large scale, even for very big companies. And most of the times I would download these UI kits with design systems and symbols and nested symbols, and I just see either flaws or symbols, nested symbols, which are structured, and even design systems which aren't structured in a way which I want when working on the project. So what I end up doing is I simply undo all of the design system, I undo all of that work, and just create a design system from scratch based on the framework of that UI kit. Now, I think that 90% of the value of the UI kit is just having, you know, the styling already created, so you're not starting from scratch, and you also have a lot of elements already created. But I think that when it comes to symbols, nested symbols and components, you can really tweak them and then create the component yourself, create the nested symbol yourself, and adapt the design system really fast. I think that it's not something which takes a lot of time if you know your workflows and you have the right plugins. So I can take any UI kit which gives me a good base that hasn't a design system. I can implement the design system really fast. So it's just 90% of the value is just having the visuals already done. So I think that sometimes as designers we really stress a lot about details which doesn't really matter, and I think that some designers don't really track their hours in and see where the best ROI really is. And since I do a lot of hourly tracking, I really understand these things. So that's the third reason I'm not making a design system. However, that being said, I'm going to create, and I already have created several videos on design systems. I'm going to create an entire series on design systems, and both Figma and also Adobe XD and Sketch, because it's a very important topic, and as I addressed it in some of my past videos, I want to address it again, and further continue this discussion, and because it really is something which differentiates a junior designer to a senior designer, and can really help you out with working on large scale projects, and just working more efficiently. So that's it. I'll leave you with some music now.